Signaturetv, news in your pocket.
It's natural for vision to decline with age or with time, but then it becomes alarming to see the increased number of children battling with eye defects. Although rising statistics say it's attributed to maybe early onset symptoms or problems, it has become imperative for us to talk about some of these threats militating against our children's sight and causing them to have eye defects. Welcome to Inside Health on Signaturetv. I'm your host, Chigicha. And today we are discussing screens, sugar, silent threats, and the new enemies of children's eyesight. Don't forget, we are live 24/7 online on YouTube at Signaturetv Official, and we're also live on SLTV channel 265. We're going to go on a short break. When we come back, Inside Health continues. Stay with us.
We are local.
We are right now with the wife of the man that was
Why the main market is in chaos. People
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye.
we have taken this vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signaturetv, news in your pocket.
And if you're just joining us, this is Inside Health on Signaturetv, and today we are discussing a very vital subject matter: screens, sugar, silent threats, and the new enemies of children's eyesight. And I would like to introduce our experts on the show, Dr. Chika Basi. Dr. Chika is an ophthalmologist, a consultant ophthalmologist with UNTH ENUGU. Thank you so much, Dr. Chika, for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You would even agree with me that we've had tons of discussion about, children and eyesight even before we went on air, and there are some things you were, telling me that blew my mind. Now, so many people are aware of screens. Even growing up, I knew screens were bad for eyesight, especially going very close to screens. So, people are becoming aware of sugars. But then there are other silent threats against children, because you notice that before now, children weren't as exposed or as predisposed, rather, to eye issues as they are currently. So can you take us through, given your experience, of course, as an ophthalmologist, can you take us through some of the experiences and some of the things that, have caused children to have eye issues, in the course of discharging your duties?
Okay, so just like you, hello to the audience. So just like you stated, the screen. Now, previously, kids played outside. They spent a lot of outdoor time, more than they do now on the screen,
True.
The aim thing now is for children to have an iPad. If it's not an iPad, the mother places them in front of the television to keep them busy. Okay, now as much as children gain a lot of information on these devices, it has the drawbacks.
Yes.
Okay, so constantly looking at the screen, okay, could be defective to the child's eye, in the sense that the child could have fatigue, it could cause eye strain, the child could have headaches, they could have dry eyes because some of them, don't blink as often as they should while
watching television.
Yes, while going through the screen. So we advocate kids to spend less time on the screen. Actually, one of the there's the rule, a 20-20-20 rule we have, where we say you spend 20 minutes, for every 20 minutes you spend on the screen, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. It's like an exercise sort of, so that you don't spend so much time on the screen.
Can you break it down?
Okay, it's a 20-20-20 rule, stating that for every 20 minutes you're working on either the computer, the iPad, or the television, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. So like now I'm looking at this screen, okay? I look at the screen for 20 minutes. So I would tend to look something 20 feet away
Maybe
for 20 seconds.
From the house
from the screen,
to
maybe from
looking
the house
outside the window.
outside the window, exactly. For 20 seconds, and then you get back to the screen. So all these are just to exercise the eyes, right? So that we reduce the ills that can come from excessive screen time. One of them is the refractive error. Okay, studies have shown that
before you get to that, just so the viewer will get a very good perspective. So 20 minutes, you look out through your window, maybe
20 minutes on the screen.
Now 20 minutes,
20 minutes.
For every 20 minutes,
yes,
you look out for 20 seconds or for 20 minutes
at something 20 feet away, at a distance,
okay,
for 20 seconds.
Okay, so it's minutes,
feet,
seconds.
Yes.
Now when you talk about 20 seconds, it means counting from 1 to 20.
Yes, something like that.
Okay.
And then you can get back to the screen.
Absolutely.
So that you're giving your eyes that
time to relax.
Exactly. And the muscles to rest.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, so I was trying to say that studies have shown that excessive screen time increases the risk of a child having a type of refractive error we call myopia, normally known as short-sightedness.
Yes.
Okay, so we know that basically light gets into the eye, and then it's focused on the retina, which is at the back of the eye. Okay, and then that's the impulses that get to the brain, and then the person sees, right? So studies have shown that excessive screen time gives them short-sightedness, such that the images don't focus on the retina, rather it focuses in front of the retina. So the child gets blurred images and they're unable to see appropriately without being aided by glasses, spectacles. Okay, so studies have shown that. So that's why we advocate children. Yes, it's good to be on the iPad, right? Get information and whatnot. But there should be, as you said, screen time allocated to the screen, and time allocated to the child having outdoor activities, so that we reduce that risk of them having that refractive
Now, when we talk about screens, we talk about monitors, computers, iPads, basically any sort of monitor.
Yeah.
But you find out, I don't know if it's a class thing or people trying to show they belong. You find out our children as young as 10, they have their own personal, either PC or phone. Now, at what age would you advocate a child gets a device?
Well, right now, like in some schools, they use devices to teach the children. So if you start putting an age restriction per se to it, it may not work for a lot of the primary school students who now do assignments on the iPad, you understand? But definitely, you won't want a child below 5 on the iPad. What is the child doing? You understand? But even if the child is going to play games, it should be a restricted time. Like there's a rule that says children below 2 years should have only 2 hours spent on the screen per day.
Per day?
Yes. You understand? So that shows you how limited it ought to be for children of that age range. But those are in the primary school, people may argue that, well, they're using it to do their assignments. Then if that is the case, play out that 20-20-20 rule. So that at the same, while the child is getting the work done, the child is also exercising the eyes as well.
Okay, interesting. That's all about screens for now. Let's talk about sugars. Like I told you, I was aware of screens even while growing up. But sugars, people are become aware of how dangerous sugars can be. But then there's a school of thought that will say, well, children have actively growing and dividing cells. They can afford to burn these sugars. Children can, take sugars. But what is your thoughts? What is the relationship between sugars, and what kind of sugars should we look out for? How does it affect children's eyesight?
Okay, thank you for that question. So,
You're welcome.
sugars, natural sugars is good. When I say natural sugars, I'm talking of the sugars you get from pineapples, oranges, watermelon, honey. Now, those type of sugars are good, okay, because they give the body the carbohydrate the body needs, okay, for activity. But when you come to the added sugars, the additives that they put in all these foods we eat now, and the bad sugars, basically, those are the bad types of sugars.
Do you know what I need you to do for me?
Yeah.
I need you to be, well, not really as specific, but I need you to talk about, are you talking about sugars in teas, beverages?
Yes.
Sugars in soda?
Yes.
Sugars in
Coke, exactly.
These children's juice.
Yes.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
So those sugars are the ones that are not necessarily good for the child, which is why it should be limited. You don't go in, you want to take a cup of tea and you're pouring in 5 spoons of sugar into that tea.
You do know that the beverage itself contains sugar?
Exactly. So that's excess for the child. And when these sugars get into the body, they're stored up as fat. Okay? Before you know it, you see your child being obese. The child is adding up some weight. And the sugar in itself may not directly cause, but then it's a risk factor to the children having diabetes. You've heard of diabetes, juvenile diabetes and all that. Yes. So it's a risk of the child having diabetes. Okay. And when they have diabetes, the eye is the window to the soul, right? So the eye, basically anything happening, not everything, but many of the things that occur in the system can affect the eye. So one of them is diabetes. A child having diabetes could also have some eye symptoms as a result of having diabetes. Yes. One of those things that can occur to the eye, apart from dry eye in the front of the eye, at the back of the eye, the child could have diabetic retinopathy. Okay.
Wow.
Yes, which is a condition, that is caused by high levels of sugar in the bloodstream that affects the retina and could cause a lot of problems in the back of the eye. Wow. And apart from diabetes also, the fact that the child is obese also predisposes the child to a lot of other things, hypertension and so many other conditions. So sugars, that's added sugars in itself is never good. It should be taken, because you can't really say, okay, I won't give this child Capri-Sun. There's a limit to everything.
Can we not call the names?
I'm sorry.
Can we not call the
I'm
brand
so sorry.
names? It's all right, go ahead, please.
So you can't say you won't give this child beverages that have sugars in them, okay? But then limit it. So it's not in excess, you understand? Everything
so you don't go packing it into that child's food pack every day. Going to school.
Everything should be taken with limits, so that you don't risk the child having
this fruit. I don't even know whether to call it a fruit or a pulp. I don't know what to call it. Sugar cane. How good is the sugar? I actually cringe at sugar cane.
Okay.
But I don't know whether it's out of the fact that I just don't personally like sugarcane. But do you think the sugar in sugarcane is good?
Well, the sugar in sugarcane is natural sugar, because it's a plant. You understand? It's natural sugar. So the harm there, unless it's an individual that already has diabetes taking that, that would be dangerous to the individual. Okay. But if it's someone that doesn't have a health condition, right? These are natural sugars. What the ill that comes with sugarcane is, how was it cleaned? Because most times when you buy it, they've peeled out the back and they've probably soaked it in something prior to your purchasing. So what you'll be worried about now is, okay, how was it cleaned? And before consumption.
That's the kind of water they used in preparing it.
Exactly. So that will be.
Atahiru jega na nyeke negi Honorable Kochukwu Melu Jisike n'ọlụ na Chukwu ga-akwụ ụgwọ. You are sacrificial lamb in this journey today.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket. Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signaturetv. News in your pocket.